INFJs make for encouraging leaders who typically treat their subordinates as equals instead of exerting their power or authority or micromanaging their work. Whilst INFJs are generally very good at motivating individuals based on their personal preferences, INFJs make great leaders because of the way that they always prioritize making people feel heard and feel respected, valued and cared for. INFJs are also very good at identifying people's strengths and their weaknesses as well as their talents. In this video, I'm going to discuss with you my thoughts on whether or not an INFJ would make a good CEO. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shamiso Miranda and this channel is all things INFJ, personal growth and lifestyle design. Stay tuned for some tips, tricks, hacks and tools on overcoming adversity. And if you'd like to learn how you could use life's adversities to your advantage, do consider subscribing to my channel and hit the bell icon next to it. So, would an INFJ make a good CEO? As an INFJ myself, I know that we have great skills, traits and talents when working with individuals, and we know how to bring out the best in people. And we are very goal-oriented, we are big dreamers, and we are also doers. So we have some absolutely fantastic qualities as leaders, but the question remains, would an INFJ make a great CEO? Now, in my own personal experience, I believe that no, this is a recipe for a complete disaster. I do not think that INFJs would make great CEOs, and in just a minute we're going to get into some of my reasons and my thoughts behind this. So this video was inspired by a post that I saw on Quora, and it was titled, "Would INFJ make a great CEO?" and so many people had conflicting opinions on this. Some people think that INFJ would make great CEOs. Some people think that they would make the worst CEOs. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my opinion based on that article that I found. As I've already mentioned, I do not believe that INFJ would make great CEOs. And this is because for you to be a CEO of a multinational company, for example, you would have to be ruthless to an extent. You would have to think strategically. You would have to make quick decisions. You would have to take risks. There is so much that is involved in the running of a multi-corporation company, and you have to be target driven, and you have to really seriously care about the figures, the numbers, the figures to hit your profit margins and all that good stuff. Personally, as an INFJ myself, these are areas that would just give me a headache. Just thinking about it just is an absolute nightmare. It will give me a headache. I would struggle when I'm faced with making difficult decisions that are what's in the best interest of the company. For example, if we needed to fire some people or we need to reduce our staff teams, I would struggle in this area because I would be thinking about the people that are dependent on the person that we are about to lay off. That would affect me. Also, another example that I would struggle as an INFJ CEO is if somebody's having some family issues and they needed to take time off of work to address their personal issues. I would be more concerned with the personal issue as opposed to the fact that they're about to take days off and slow down our productivity and our production process. And these are just two examples that I would absolutely be crying over every day if I was a CEO and having to deal with situations like that. As an empath, it's very difficult to make decisions that are based on the business, that are based on what's in the best interest of the company, because as an empath, we are feelers and we put ourselves in the other person's shoes. We are more driven to care and show concern to the humans that are running the company, as opposed to using the humans to push the company forward to achieve their aims and their objectives. Me personally, as an INFJ, I would just be completely obsessed with making the company a great place for the employees. That would be my major point of concern. I would want everyone to be comfortable, to have their needs met. I would want them to have everything that they need for them to be able to be the most productive and do their best work. Also, I would completely struggle with individuals in positions of power when they misuse their power to bully their subordinates. For example, there are some managers or supervisors that would give their subordinates a hard time. For me as an INFJ, that would be an issue, because I believe that everybody should be treated equally and fairly, regardless of where you are at on the hierarchy. Because at the end of the day, we are all people despite our career hierarchy. Also, as an INFJ, being a CEO, I would want everybody to have a voice. I would want to make everybody feel heard. So the door would always be open for the employees to voice their complaints and any areas of improvement that they may have come across. So the priority that I would have is completely different, because my priorities would be based on the staff and their working conditions, as opposed to looking for new strategies and for new ways to push the company forward and to stay ahead of the competition. Whereas a good CEO is the reverse of that. They are all about staying ahead of the competition, doing what needs to be done to get to the next level, regardless of who they may step on to get there. They have to make risky decisions, quick decisions, and their decision process is less about the employees' welfare and well-being and all of that. So these are some of the reasons that I believe that an INFJ would completely struggle as a CEO, and I do not think that an INFJ would make a good CEO. And in situations where the CEO needs to discipline the staff in terms of unmet targets and things like that, this is another situation that INFJs will completely struggle, because you're going to have to be tough on people. You're going to have to be strict. You are going to have to be seen as someone in a position of power, and you're going to have to do what needs to be done. Now, before we dive into the INFJ's contribution to the organization, I want you to let me know in the comments below whether you think an INFJ would make a good CEO. I would love to speak with you. So as I briefly mentioned earlier, first and foremost, an INFJ would make the office the most wonderful place for everybody in it. And also, INFJs are not motivated by money and numbers. They are so much more concerned about the well-being of the people behind the company. So it will be very difficult for an INFJ CEO to be able to meet their targets and stay on top of the game when they have to make decisions that actually impact people's income, people's lives. But I do believe that there is a partnership. There are some partnerships within the MBTI that, if those partnerships were to come together and work to balance each other out, that would absolutely make it possible, and it would overcome the issues that INFJs face when taking the position of CEO. So stay tuned for my next videos. Hit the like button to let me know that is something you're interested in, and I will work towards that. So the corporate world is an absolutely ruthless place, and you will be up against competitors that are willing and ready to do anything it takes to gain a place. So a company that values humans and protects their dreams will soon be left behind and completely kicked out of the race. I don't believe, as an INFJ on your own, you'd have to have a mentor or an advisor that has the opposite strengths to the INFJ to completely be able to thrive as an INFJ CEO. Now, if you don't know what your personality type is, I have a free MBTI personality type indicator in the description. Go ahead and check it out. Now go and watch this playlist for more on all things INFJ, and I'll see you in my next one as we continue our journey towards a more wholesome, healthier, and more meaningful lifestyle.